AM 1430 KRGI. Good morning. It's 9:05. I'm Brian Gallagher. We have a chance to talk about plans. We have a chance to talk about research and genealogy. We have a chance to talk with Steve Irwin from Desch-Paine Memorials. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
We've had a chance to talk about genealogy over your last few visits, and it's something that the deeper you go, you realize just how, let's say, fruitful your history can be. Man, the things you find, the farther you go back, it's uncanny. I'm starting to uncover relatives now from the 1600s.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm going, whoa. So, haven't found any deep, dark secrets yet, and may I'd like to keep it that way. But it is interesting, though. You know, the farther you go back, it's just how the records are actually still pretty good. So, yeah, it's fun. This is great.
You've gone back quite a ways. I went back to my great-grandparents. That's as far as I've gotten so far.
Now, I admit I have used one of the online services, so it's allowed me to do more of that, but they're able to match some records, and it's just uncanny how the pieces come together. So,
speaking of genealogy, after last month's discussion on that, I received an email from Forever Curious, as this organization is called. Elena McDermott is her name, and she indicated that Forever Curious is a group of librarians and educators who are curating and creating the best educational resources for kids on the web. Their next piece is a series of lesson plans using genealogy as a way to teach students about history. And in doing research for that project, she came across our website. And there were a couple posts on the website about our last couple visits on genealogy. So that was kind of cool to know that somebody is listening or somebody is watching. So
wow, we got the Steve and Brian fan club out there someplace.
Somewhere.
This is great. Notice I gave you top billing.
Yeah, that's right.
We're talking with Steve Irwin from Desch-Paine Memorials. This is not the only Desch-Paine store, is it?
No, it's the only one called Desch-Paine.
Okay.
There are actually 14 store locations in under the umbrella of what is called Monumental Sales out of St. Cloud, Minnesota. So we have 2 stores in Nebraska, here in Grand Island, and then Norfolk, and that's called Norfolk Memorials. There's 1 store in Lansing, Michigan, 1 in Madison, Wisconsin, which was up kind
That's
of
where
in
the
area
university,
where
yes,
you grew up.
university is, right.
University there. In South Dakota, there's 5 or 6 here. There's Aberdeen, Brookings, Huron, Pierre, Sioux Falls, and Watertown. And in Minnesota, 4 stores: New Ulm, Owatonna, Winona, and St. Cloud. And St. Cloud is the store that has our plant where we do all the cutting and finishing and sandblasting, and then they are shipped out of there by a truck and brought to all the different locations.
So you really have a chance to stay on top of quality control that way.
We do, and that's exactly what I was going to talk about next. Was this plant in St. Cloud does all of our sandblasting. We do all of our own sandblasting, all of the stencil work. We do all of the setting ourselves. We do not outsource any of our work. And our owner, Jim Schiffler, said as long as he's alive, we will never outsource. And that guarantees the highest quality. Some of our competitors don't have the facilities, they don't have the ability, and so they get their granite finished at the quarry, and the quality is lacking at the quarry. So that's why we sandblast everything ourselves, and we set everything ourselves.
That's another reason you're able to offer some of the things you do too. Some of the Redland prints or the etchings and things like that really allows you to go over and above.
Right, and we are the only company, or these 14 stores, that are allowed to etch Terry Redland. And it comes back to that Watertown location in South Dakota where his studio still is. And so, therefore, we're able to etch any of his drawings that he did.
Steve Irwin is our guest from Desch-Paine Memorials, a part of a large group across the Midwest with 14 different locations in all, including 2 in Nebraska. But the Grand Island store is where Steve works. You mentioned the plant and being able to control all of that. If people are still looking at taking care of something like this before the end of the year, are you running into any kind of a year-end deadline?
We do. Excuse me. We do have a deadline, and we have a deadline every year. But I want everyone to know they can still order their memorials and have it placed in the cemetery yet this year. The deadline for that is October 3rd. The order must be placed by October 3rd. And the only way we can have that done and set yet this year is if the piece that they order has to be in stock. In other words, we can't go to the quarry and have a quarry cut a piece for us. We have to have it in stock. We have several common shapes and sizes and colors that are in stock. So it's not like we just have one or two pieces in stock. There's a wide variety that we have. And we also have one-of-a-kinds, over 100 that are just waiting for people to say, "You're mine," and we sandblast it.
Okay. If folks do have questions about design or the specifics of a piece, maybe they just want to start thinking ahead and making some plans, how can they get a hold of you?
They can call us. Local number is 384-2422. Toll free is 800-825-5783. And our location in town is 3805 Old Potash.
All right. Steve Irwin with Desch-Paine Memorials with some great information. And in case you're checking on genealogy, you can get a hold of Steve, too, and talk more about that. Believe me, the farther back you go, the more fun it becomes. So, Steve, always good to see you. We'll see you next month.
Thanks, Brian.
912.